And if you continue growing inside, in regard to know who you are, that's the most important thing to do in your time now that you're in college, the first thing is to find out who you really are. Your real self, with capital S. Because when you found that, everything else becomes a piece of cake. Very easy. That will be your first priority. Every minute and every time and every hour, every day, it should be to find out who you really are. I'm not talking about the negative things or the good things about you. No. I'm talking about something else. Much more glorious and important. Who you really are. It will be the greatest discovery. So along with that kind of effort that you will be doing every day, that will help you a lot to really land to a place that you belong. And the curve, if you notice, has kind of a slope going a little bit down there, a little bit down there, and then goes up again. There are moments in our lives that we need to be patient. You might have to take some classes that you're not that excited about in order to fulfill your dream. Right? You might need to do sometimes some things. Take a lab or something. You might say it's boring and so on and so forth for a short time to be able to go and accomplish what you want. But make sure it's not a permanent, continuous crawling on your belly, because that means you're not in the right major. That means you're not in the right place. You cannot be in high school an A student, 4.0 student, or whatever you want to call it, and then start getting sciences D's and D's and D's. There's something wrong here. And I have seen these examples. I've seen people, they say, but I don't understand why I'm getting my sciences D's. And then you say, sit down. What do you think is happening with you? What do you want to do? I want to do this. And why are you not doing well? Well, I don't really like these classes I'm taking. Why you don't like them? Well, I don't like them because I just don't like them. I said, wait a minute, you want to do this, right? You told me you want to do this. And then to do this, you're required to take these things. They relate to that. Why you don't like them? Well, it's not really me I want to do this. It's my mom, my dad, my friend, my teacher, my society, my culture. Then we have great tragedies. And then tears start coming from the eyes. What can I do? Because there is a lot of pressure. There, you have to be very careful, not to be in a hurry. You have to respect and love the ones that they care for you. Without it, don't go one more step forward. It's not going to be forward, it's going to be backwards. And when you have that in place, that you respect and love the ones that they care for you to this point, I don't care how you feel like about it. They are your parents, or any other people that they care for you. Step parents, I don't care who they are. If they care for you and you know it, don't make war with them, because you go nowhere by doing that. But with patience and loving attitude, start taking classes that you care for, going to internships that you care for, and prove not just to them, but more importantly to you, that what you want to do, which is different than what they want you to do, is actually that's what you are capable of doing. Because many times parents know the kids more than what the kids know themselves. Many times that happens. And you see parents suggest to the kids, I think you will be good on this. And the student, as a reaction, says, no, I don't want to do that, because we have some fights growing on other things. Now it has become a habit to fight even for this topic, which is so important. And many times parents know what you will be most capable of doing. In fact, many times you are capable of doing the same thing as your parents, because you got their DNA. You got their something. There is something. And there's a lot of examples with people that they said, no, 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 and they went around and around for 10, 20 years, around and around. They ended up exactly doing what their parents were doing. Very happy now. Because it was just a reaction in the beginning, you know. No, no, because they said no for everything else. So they said no for about the career. So make sure you are doing the right thing. Okay? And nothing in a hurry. Whenever you make such important decisions of change, you must do it by having information from different places. Not just one person, not just one teacher, not just one parent. You must collect information from parents and teachers and different books to make sure that you really have this kind of information in place, solid, and then slowly you can make the change. And another thing is, don't be afraid of change, especially if you're a person who is disciplined and progresses and grows inside every day. You must expect that when changes happen inside you and you're growing spiritually, intellectually, your mind opens up, you must expect that there will be changes in friends, in books you read, in dreams that you have, in goals that you have, in majors that you have. Everything changes if you grow inside. And you have to welcome that change. You should not be afraid of it. You should move as you feel like it would be the best for you. You must change with patience and wisdom. And you need to be surrounded by people that they have a good advice for you, that they actually do truly love you and they care for you. Unselfishly. Because no one can give a good advice to anyone if that advice has the element of selfishness. We cannot do that. So you're smart. You can know who truly really is capable of giving you such an advice, because that will lead you to the green pastures. And the dots do have a meaning in the life curve. As you start your trip, more or less you've started already since you were born anyway. But you know, school-wise, you started when you were in elementary school. Mostly you would say you started now in college, right? Start thinking what you will be doing. There is a perfect way of doing it. But in the beginning, you're learning. Everybody's learning. I learned with a lot of pain. If I was to do things again, I would not do the same way, of course. Totally different. I wouldn't be waiting to go to teaching for 10, 15 years to pay my loans. It didn't make any sense. It does not make any sense what I did. If I would do it again, I would say, I'll pay the loans little by little, big deal. Instead of paying them in 5 years, I would pay them in 30 years. So what? It would be a little portion of my salary, anyway. But I would be fulfilled, content, since the day I got my PhD. Why should I go through all this pain? And jump out and resign 2 times from 2 permanent jobs, go all the way down financially, many tears here, my family through all these troubles, until I find my place. Why? Fear. How to pay my loans fast. Why? Why? What's the reason? Go and do something you really are capable of doing the best, and you enjoy it, and you know, because I knew that since I was in your place in college, because I was tutoring to make some money on the side, and I knew I really love it. I knew that. So why did I put it on the back of my mind, and I just was waiting and waiting? And then the wife gets a job, the kids get friends, you get really rooted somewhere. You cannot change things easily later. It is now to make the good decisions, the right decisions. It's easier. Nothing is impossible. You can do it, but it's very hard. It's almost impossible later. And I know so many people in my own age that they do things I know they don't love. They're waiting to retire, but by the time they reach close to retirement, they're gone. They come and move. I lived in places that were making big money, $150,000 a year, $200,000 a year. And these people were talking about retirement all the time, every day. I said, what's going on here? If they would be happy, they wouldn't talk about retirement every day. I better get out of here because I feel the same way. I don't do what I really like. I don't talk about retirement. If somebody asks me, when are you going to retire? My answer is, what are you talking about? Retire from what? How can I retire from something I love? And until I breathe, I will be doing it. What do you mean retire? I don't understand that kind of word anymore. Because when you dwell on something you like, it's like your mother goes to the sandbox and says, when are you going to come in and eat? You don't even listen to her. You just completely ignore her. You're in your world playing with your friends on the sandbox. And she's talking about food. You even forget to go to the bathroom. And you might lose them on your clothes. Because you're so happy of what you're doing. You're just totally absorbed. Not workaholism. That's a different thing. Workaholism is when you lose that job, you go crazy. Somebody who loves what he's doing, even if he loses his job, he's not going to go crazy. He's be very sweet, humble, peaceful man, and he's going to create a job for himself very soon, because that driving force is there, and he knows what he is, and what he's all about, and what he likes. So that person is not going to go nuts and commit suicide or become violent or whatever, or being depressed. That person, it doesn't matter what will happen to his life. He has come to know himself. He has come to know what he likes to do and he can do. And so even if he loses his job, believe me, sooner or later, even if he's not going to be hired by someone, which is very possible because they will know how good he is in his job, history, right? He's going to create a job out of his own talents. Examples. Hundreds of thousands of examples. You can find out in books, stories. That happens that way to people. But as long as you shrink your greatness. You reduce your greatness that is in you in order to make other people happy. That is their own way of doing it, because no one can make another person happy. No one can make you happy, and you cannot make other people happy. Happiness comes from within. Happiness does not come from outside to go in. Happiness comes from within and goes out. And it happens when you make the right decisions in your mind, because you're using your mind and your body correctly. When time goes by, as you progress in life, the dots in the life curve come closer and closer to the curve. At the end, they go on the curve, because you reach a point that you become the master of your body and your mind. You finally realize, sooner or later, after 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 40 years, or perhaps in another life, you finally realize that you, the self, with capital S, is not your body, is not your mind, it's something eternal and great and beautiful. Not many people discover that. They're not willing. I don't know why. But that's the most glorious thing, because then everything you will do, it will be beautiful. And people will say, what beauty is this? Whoa, what is this?